Hey Joel, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Joseph?
I'm good, man. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. You know, I know you got videos out there and your website and marketing, and people can check out Deep on their own. But I think it's a really cool product, and I just wanted to, you know, get some time with you to, have you showcase it, talk about it. Maybe you could answer a question that hasn't maybe been answered yet. So just to kick
Yeah.
things off, in 60 seconds, what is deep lawn? And then, following that, and take as much time as you want, how did it come to be? Why did you start it? What was kind of the beginning phase of the product?
Yeah. So Deep Lawn is a tool for lawn care, pest control, snow removal companies that allows them to give quotes to customers super easy. So we've tried to minimize friction with selling lawn care services. So we have two tools. One of them is an e-commerce tool that lawn care companies can place, lawn care pest control companies can place on their website. A homeowner can go on their website, search their address. We have AI, proprietary in-house built AI that automatically will measure the lawn square footage in a lawn on a property, a house perimeter, driveway, sidewalk data, and then that homeowner can then get a price and sign up. So essentially, Shopify for lawn care and pest control companies. We've also built some really cool tools internally that salespeople, office staff at these pest control and lawn care companies can generate a quote and send it to the homeowner and get them a price in their hands in about 60 to 90 seconds. So what is traditionally a very like time consuming process to get a quote, and the reason, and this kind of goes back to your other question, the reason we built this. So in 2011, my brother and I spun up, or we started a lawn care company. We were in high school, and we did it as a way to just save money for college. Um, we ended up loving the industry and like really building, building a fairly good sized business with residential lawn care. And one of the struggles we faced is we would get a request for a quote. They'd go on our website, fill out a form, and then we would get it. And during the busy part of the season, it might take a few days for one of our salespeople to go out on the property. So they would show up to the property, they would eyeball it, or they would get a measuring wheel and measure the lawn. And so and then they would write up a quote on paper, or we would use Service Autopilot or Real Green and get them a quote. And sometimes that process during the spring busy months would take a couple days to get a quote in the hand of the customer. And what we found, and as every year progressed, so we own this lawn care company from 2011 all the way through 2019 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Cedar Rapids and Iowa City, Iowa areas. What we found is as every year progressed, more and more folks really wanted to get that quote instantly. So we would end up losing our customers to TruGreen. And TruGreen was great at this. They would give a quote right over the phone, or they would have somebody there, within an hour, or they'd give them a quote right then and there, or email it to them while they're on the phone. So what we noticed is, we needed, in order to increase our close rates and start to sell these customers, we really needed to change the way we were quoting. So, fast forward, my brother and I sold our lawn care company in 2019. We got an offer from a larger company in the area. We had both gotten tech degrees at the University of Iowa, and we wanted to work on something in tech. So I started, not too long after that. I also worked for Samsung Semiconductor as a machine learning engineer out of college. But I had started working on this in 2020, and Deeplan really kind of solves that problem. So we really changed the game when we launched in 2021. So, in a couple ways, our AI automatically, as far as I know, we were kind of pretty much one of the first to use AI with measurements. There's a couple companies out there that you have a team overseas that will measure lawns,
Hmm.
send it back in 24 hours. we were really the first to market with instantaneous lawn measurements, in anywhere from 20 to 60 seconds. Our AI will generate and return those measurements. So around that, we've built a couple tools, and that's back to the two tools I mentioned: the e-commerce tool and also the quoting tool. So
So
yeah,
I see it. It's very um, revolutionary in a way to our industry, and kind of not eliminating but significantly changing the way things are estimated.
yeah.
So you know, would it be fair to, is that kind of your goal? Like, hey, let's kind of revolutionize the industry, or was it more that backstory of, hey, this is like a necessity, something that we need, for our own business. So let's build this, and it can be helpful for other people, or kind of both.
Yeah, I would say we built it out of necessity as something, we built it as a tool that I always wanted. So long before, when I started Deep Lawn, obviously I wanted to get customers, I wanted to make a business out of it. But the first goal was to just build what we needed, build the product that my brother and I always needed at our lawn care company. So I think Deep Lawn is a great tool in the arsenal, a tool in the toolbox, or a weapon in the
Hmm.
arsenal for a lawn care pest control company. It's not going to totally replace your sales team at all by any means. What it does though is it equips them with the tools to be able to sell more, to close higher rates, to increase the average the sale price, all of that. So like there still needs to be a human in the loop occasionally. Um, there's many homeowners that will go on, they'll get a price, and they still want to talk to somebody and get the best advice and what plan do I need to use or this or that. So salespeople are still very crucial at that. Also, answering phone calls, utilizing Deep Lawn to get a quote. So the way I looked at it when we started, and I still do today, is it's a great tool, brought about by the changing demographics and the way people use technology today. You and I, I'm a millennial. I'm at the last year. I was born in
Yeah.
'95, so I'm one of the last millennials. My brother's Gen Z, I believe. Most Gen Z, the Gen Z generation, they've always grown up with a smartphone, and they're used to using Uber. And we talked about this earlier, using Uber, using Amazon. Or when COVID hit, I think it accelerated this trend. So a lot of consumers are more and more used to these big tech companies and using software. So, um, with the way things have changed with technology and demographics, I think it's very crucial that lawn care companies and service companies in general make it easier for homeowners to sign up. I do think the form, typical service companies, they'll put a form on their website, and then they'll eventually reach back out to the person requesting an estimate. I think that's becoming a thing of the past. And I think a lot of lawn care companies are realizing they need to make it easier for homeowners to sign up. Obviously, it's different with the commercial. Commercial landscape companies, that process probably, I don't think it's changed much. There's still the bidding process. There's probably still a form to fill out. The the commercial company will fill out a form or reach out to somebody, and that sales process takes longer. But when you do direct to consumer, direct to homeowners, you're selling to residential companies, they really need to rethink their sales process and remove any friction that's there for the client, potential client.
Yeah, and I agree with all that. Again, I think it's a really cool product, and what you're talking about and what the product is, not to boil it down, or whatever, but it's artificial intelligence is a big, what is enabling you to do this, right?
Yep.
And that's obviously, a big topic right now, hot button topic. People are talking about AI and, what does this mean for the world? And for I think a lot of our industry who we're a lot of us blue collar background, we might not really know what that means,
Yeah.
or might be scared to maybe bring that into our business in some way. I mean, I've worked with guys who have never used a laptop before I gave them one. So the question there is kind of like, what do you say to those people who are maybe skeptical, or like you were talking about, people are realizing where things are going away from those forms on the websites? What would you say to people who haven't realized that yet? What does artificial intelligence enable us to do, and why should they take a look at Deep Lawn?
Yeah. So I would say AI and artificial intelligence, for the most part, is very overblown. It's a lot of hype, and over the years, every couple of years, there's another hype cycle for AI and what that is. And people talk about the robots, they talk about Terminator, but essentially, there's many different aspects. There's subsets of AI, and what DeepLearn utilizes is a subset called computer vision. So now, if you've ever driven in a Tesla or any of the cars that use lane assist, they're using computer vision. Most of them are using some form of computer vision and machine learning, which are subsets of AI. So similar to how our brain works, and we don't even know how the human brain works. There's a lot going on up there. Um, some people have more going on out there than others, but essentially, it's just pattern recognition. So what our AI has done, what we've done is we've built up this data set of millions and millions of measured lawns, and essentially we told a computer that this is lawn looking from satellite, and this is not. This is a landscape bed. This is a building. This is a house. This is a deck. This is a driveway. This is a sidewalk. And we trained, we've trained our computer vision model on millions and millions of images, and it's learned to build essentially those patterns and understand those patterns and what that is. And from there, and that's all that computer vision is. So
Yeah.
I know ChatGPT, there's more going on there, and that's another subset of AI, some of the natural language processing and large language models. But as far as like use Deeplan and what it uses is just utilizing computer vision and building patterns, recognizing patterns on data. So if you really break it down to that, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
It's just
So
another tool,
yeah, so the Chat GPT and all that. That's a whole other conversation. I guess just to dumb it down for people, Deep Lawn is it's looking at the aerial imagery of where the client's property is, and it's just
Yeah,
recognizing based on its memory of all of these other measurements that it's taken, which area is lawn, which area is sidewalk, which area is driveway. And
yeah,
I'm sure it's much more involved in that, but to dumb it down to that, that's all it's
yeah,
really doing. And it's so there's no fear of it doesn't have a mind of its own. It's helping your, like you spoke about earlier, your sales people, your sales staff facilitate sales quicker, faster, easier.
exactly.
Which to me, what I think about when I think about that is, the sales funnel, which I talk about. You have to get a lot of sales, proposals out there to end up with, some subsection of that as your clients. And what this to me is doing is really widening the top of that funnel by getting more bids out because you're able to do it faster and faster.
Yeah, exactly. Now you definitely need the team to fulfill the work. So,
Hmm.
uh, you
Yeah.
know, you're going to sell, if you make it super easy to sell, you're probably going to sell more. So you definitely need the team. And what it enables you to do is, and then put more focus on, when you utilize deep lawn, you can then put more focus on the operations, and then put more focus on providing a superior service.
Again, it's really cool, man. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but maybe just quickly, like it sounded like maybe 2019 ish is when you started. So we're a few years in. What version of the software would you say you're on? And I don't mean that in the sense of like the version of the app, like in the business itself. Sometimes you think about the early days. That's version one of the business, and then something happens where you get over a hump and you're in version two. Like, where would you say you're at, and what does the next version of the business look like?
Yeah, so in about 2020, I started coding and working on it, my brother and I. But we didn't actually have a version one. Like, we were in beta. We had a beta version, our MVP, our minimum
Hmm.
viable product. We had that in the spring of 2021. And this is long before the public knew about what we were working on. There were a few companies, though, about 10 of them, that in the summer of 2021 and fall, we beta tested with. So they were kind of our trial run using Deep Lawn, 10 companies around the country, just doing lawn care, lawn fertilization and mowing. And that was a very crucial summer because we were able to get good feedback. And there were a lot of things we had to totally redo. With our product, we had to improve our AI. A lot of people don't know, but from satellite and aerial imagery, grass in Iowa looks a lot different than grass from satellite or aerial imagery in Florida or in Texas or in Arizona. They don't have that much grass, a lot of artificial turf. So there's just there's a lot of nuance there. So just building new models, making sure we had data sets from all those different areas, and just refining the product. And then also building out partnerships with a lot of the CRMs in the space, to communicate with and to push our data in. Because a lot of companies are using their CRM, like Aspire, like Service Autopilot, like Real Green, like Jobber, to then manage
Hmm.
and schedule and operations. So, so yeah, over the course of the couple of years, many different versions of the product. We feel like we really have good product market fit now, and we've built a tool that can work in many different edge cases and many different industries now. As far as like what's next, we actually have a few tools in our tools that we're going to be releasing for marketing purposes. So one of the things with residential lawn care, residential pest control, it's very important that you have good route density. So we're rolling out some products that will help with building route density. So that's a big release that we're going to be releasing this spring, uh, for Deep Lawn customers. That's going to be called Density Blaster. And we have some other partnerships in the works with other CRMs. Aspire, even, I believe we're gonna, because they have open APIs now, we're gonna build an integration for a few of our customers that use Aspire, to integrate to Aspire, Deep Lawn to Aspire. So we have partnerships with a lot of other CRMs like Jobber, Service Autopilot, and yeah, that's what's next. I also foresee we're going to start to bring in additional data points, and also our AI will continue to improve, and we'll be able to get additional data points like tree canopy. And this will be aided by aerial imagery is starting to come down in cost, and it's starting to become higher resolution. So as that happens now and into the future, our AI will just become better and better. So that's what we're focused on. But yeah, the big thing is building additional tools to help build route density. And that was a big problem at my company, my lawn care company, is we would expand to new service areas without first dominating the neighborhoods and communities where we were in. And because of that, that led to a decrease in our gross margin. which definitely affected our bottom line. And so, if I were to do it again, build another lawn care company, and I advise a few lawn care companies, that I've known for a long time. I help them occasionally, but one of the big things we look at is how can we first dominate an area and really build good density, because that, besides pricing, route density, I've found working with thousands of companies now, is route density is the second most important factor affecting profits for lawn care companies. Other industries not as, route density is not as important, but for any service-based business, route density plays a big role.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about lawn care and maybe only it being at residence for 15 minutes, and then you're getting in the truck for 15 minutes,
I
it's
know.
it becomes half of your day if that's how you have it routed, and it's critical, like you're saying. My other interviews that I did was on that topic itself, drive time. So it's critical. Well, hey, all of that is really exciting to hear. I'm really interested in a lot of what you were talking about there. I'm interested in how the tool works with other operating softwares. That's what I have a lot of my background in, is in those operating softwares. So I think that might be our next conversation. But for now, is there anything that I missed that you'd want people to know about Deeplon?
No, I think that covers it. If anyone's interested in learning more about Deeplon, you can definitely go to Deeplon, www.deeplon.com. And just a little bit here, Deeplon. So a lot of our customers ask me, where'd you come up with the name Deeplon? Like, what does that mean? And really, it's a play on deep learning. So deep learning, computer vision, machine learning, those are subsets of AI. And so deep learning, deep lawn, it's a play on deep learning. So yeah, go to deeplon.com if you want to learn more about the product. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. That's probably the best way. I think that's how we met, Joseph, on LinkedIn. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, so we'll put the links in the description, and yeah, please reach out to Joel. It's an awesome product, and we'll be sure to showcase more of it as it grows, which I'm sure it will. So thanks, Joel. Appreciate it.
thanks, Joseph. We'll see you.
See ya.